Hello and welcome to my short session on inclusive leadership in a nutshell, discussing about why leaders give their seats up first. This is part 5, which is about why and how to build trust. When we talk about the trust, we talk about having confidence in somebody or believe that somebody is good, sincere, honest, has integrity, and so on. So in this session, we are going to see why actually leaders they need to build trust and how can they do that. Actually, trust is the most important quality that any person or organization must have to maintain long-term relationships. And also when I say leaders give their seats up first, I mean that leaders should ensure everyone else in their team are looked after and cared for, and thus true leaders sacrifice themselves so others may have a more comfortable life or working condition. Now I want to talk about why the topic of trust draw my attention to the field of leadership. Sometimes you see some friends, colleagues, teammates, and others do some remarkable things and are willing to sacrifice themselves so others may gain. So, then why those people go out of their way and put their lives, perhaps reputation, at risk and do those remarkable things? The common answer to this question that why they do this, and this is the answer coming from um, several or many heroes, is that they say the others would have done that for me if I needed. In fact, this is the true trust and deep sense of care. One of my favorite books is a book written by Simon Sinek called Leaders Eat Last that I very much recommend you to read this book, which is not very long book indeed. There are two quotations that I would like to mention here from Simon Sinek from this book. One says that you can easily judge the character of a man by how he treats those who can do nothing for him. So, in fact, this sentence also can be used on the leaders and the way people choose to do the leadership. And the other quote from Simon is that, and that's what the trust is. We don't just trust people to obey the rules, we also trust that they know when to break them. And again, this comes from the sense of caring about people and knowing what's the best for the situation. As I mentioned earlier, there are people who can do remarkable things for their friends, colleagues, teammates, and so on. One of those remarkable people is Captain William Swanson of United States Army, who was awarded with Medal of Honor in 2013. Here I'm going to share a video showing an exemplary action from Captain Swanson in the battlefield and the ground. This video shows the battlefield actions of Captain Swanson on September 8th in 2009 near the village of Genigal in Kunar province in Afghanistan, as he directs medevac landing for the evacuation of his critically injured teammate, Sergeant First Class Kenneth Westbrook. This video was captured by a medevac crew members that shows that one of the members who is Sergeant First Class Westbrook was injured in the battlefield, and Captain Swanson wears a band that you can see there in the video with a red collar that people can follow him toward the medevac, which is putting himself in danger of shooting by the enemy. And he takes this risk and helps to take Sergeant Westbrook to the safe grounds to fly out of the battlefield. And what is very touching actually in this video captured by one of the crews there is that after he lands in this action you see here, Captain Swanson comes and give a kiss to Sergeant Westbrook. That shows the deep sense of care that he has for his crew. Basically, this shows how caring Captain Swanson has been for all his teammates and comrades. So that's how you can build the trust. Captain Swanson did this one naturally, and we need to have more leaders like this that basically naturally they try to look after their team members. And we would like to know actually how you can build the trust and what's the use of the trust when you are working in a team environment. In army, we give medals basically to people who are willing to sacrifice themselves that others may gain. However, in some businesses, we give bonuses to people who are willing to sacrifice others that we may gain. Seems we got things upside down in this case. To explain why leaders they need to build trust in their team, actually I'm going to refer to Simon Sinek's circle of safety. Simon Sinek in his book called Leaders Eat Last introduces the concept of circle of safety. He says that the world around us actually is filled with danger and forces trying to hinder us. Back in the days, it was dangerous animals, and today is the danger comes from competitors, changing technologies, meeting deadlines, and personal life issues. Basically, things try to frustrate us, reduce our chance of success or our opportunities. Or maybe the new technologies actually can change the way we run business and therefore put people in danger or they feel they are threatened. Generally, we have no control over these dangers which are around us and they are constantly around us indeed. In some organizations and firms, there are also threats from the inside of the organization towards the individuals. For example, it might be a threat coming from layoffs or basically bad cultures in the organization. When the organizations basically present threats from the inside, the focus of the individuals basically switches to self-preservation. And when that happens, people can't build a unified team, but they will defend themselves or their smaller teams at the cost of the overall organization. So, because there are threats and dangers around us, we can form circle of safety to work together against those dangers and threats. And we need to trust each other to watch for danger to ensure the cooperation works. Since these threats actually won't go away and they are always there, the only way we can deal with these threats is the condition inside the organization. And that's where the leadership matters. When leaders, let's say, make the choice to put safety and lives of others first and sacrifice their own comfort and, let's say, tangible results for the organization and firm so that people remain safe and trust their leaders, then remarkable things can happen. And employees and basically team members will also go out of their way and give their blood and sweat basically to the work they are doing. So I can say it's the duty of leadership then to set an internal culture that is free of threats and actually is rich in collegiality. It's the leader who sets the tone. So it's the duty of leadership then to set an internal culture that is free of threats and rich in camaraderie and collegiality. It is the leader who sets the tone. So remember, it is the leader who sets the tone. So in the absence of internal threats, then people don't need to self-preserve. And basically our inner drives to socialize and care about the group can very much take over and flourish. And remember, when the effective leadership can fill the culture with a sense of belonging and care for the group, that's when the people can effectively tackle the external threats to the benefit of the organization. Now that we know, basically building trust is very important for the leaders, let's look at the specific benefits that the trust can bring to the teams. First benefit basically is a genuine hard work. Basically, if people they have got the trust in the team and the leader, then they will pour their blood, sweat, and tears into the organization and the job that they are allocated to work. And of course, people will take the full ownership of their own tasks. Another benefit of building trust in the teams by the leaders is having lower employee turnover. In fact, people will have improved job satisfaction and productivity. So in the same time, while they are basically creating more revenue for the company, they are also more satisfied about the job they are doing. Indeed, trust also can lead to more innovations and disruptions. Basically, people toss out ideas based on their own personal experiences and the knowledge that can introduce new avenues. So when people trust each other, so they can express basically themselves, and also innovation when people basically talk from different angles. One of the key benefits of building basically trust among team members from my point of view is that the team members can receive accurate and real feedback. And this is of course applicable to the leader as well, means the leader also can receive accurate and real feedback. Basically, people which share honest thoughts on how the relationship or the group is working or not working, which helps to address the real issues and improve the way team has been working, and therefore again results in the higher productivity of the team. To further highlight the importance of the building trust in the teams, For the businesses, it's easier perhaps to compare the high trust teams against low trust teams. For this, we can refer to Lencioni Trust Pyramid. Actually, the Lencioni Trust Pyramid was developed and published by Patrick Lencioni, who is an American management consultant, in his book. Actually, Lencioni identified 5 behaviors that will result in a team that operates as efficiently and effective as possible. So these 5 characteristics of a cohesive team are trust, conflict, commitment, accountability, and results. As you can see, at the base of the pyramid, we have trust. Without trust on the team, very little progress can be made in gaining cohesiveness overall. Vulnerability-based trust basically is the key to building the relationship required to be able to withstand and even benefit from both the routine and unique challenges every team faces. The next characteristic is conflict. Conflict is something considered generally dangerous on a team because it can lead to hard feelings. However, if the team has relationship trust, members feel secure enough to be honest and courageous. So if trust is truly in place, conflict is constructive. The next characteristic is commitment. Basically, gaining commitment from team members is not the same as getting consensus. According to Lencioni, reaching consensus means compromise, and compromise may not yield the best results. Commitment comes with a clarity of purpose. Take a problem for which there are several ideas. Then, with trust and appropriate conflict, the team chooses the idea they will persuade. Although only one idea is chosen, every member understands why that idea was selected and supports the idea. When I say supports, means both inside the team and when communicating externally. Accountability is typically the most difficult behavior for a team to master. Most will never get to the point where each team member routinely holds all other members accountable. Reaching and maintaining good scores in the previous steps indeed will make accountability much easier. Remember, accountability can become part of a team's overall dynamic. And now the pinnacle, results. Achieving team objectives is why the team actually exists. If each prior behavior is functioning well, each member of the team is focused on achieving the team's goal. The team goal becomes more important than any individual's personal goal, and everyone feels rewarded by being part of the team results. The bottom layer of the pyramid is the most important, which is the trust. Of course, let's not forget that all levels and requirements, of course, they need to be fulfilled. However, if the foundation fails, the team will fail apart. Absence of trust will result in a dysfunctional team. In high trust culture, employees believe leaders are credible. When I say credible, means they feel the leaders are competent, communicative, and honest. And also employees believe they are treated with respect as people and as professionals, as they believe the workplace is fundamentally fair. On the contrary, low trust teams, they lack communication. Basically, ignoring trust issues means that businesses are missing out on employees being highly effective in their work. Employees feel unsafe, and it is much harder to get things done in a low trust teams. A common complaint is that low trust leaders make decisions that don't consider how it will impact employees. Actually, employees spend a lot of time in self-protection mode. Now that we know building trust is very important for the leaders, then let's see how do we build trust. Surprisingly, a research study found that the most common way employees judge the trustworthiness of their boss is how quickly they respond to their emails. Leaders who choose to respond within a couple of days imply to the sender that their query isn't important enough. True or false, perception is reality. And if people rely on you to advise or make decisions or give input, then the slower the response, the more it disempowers people to do work at high standard. Now let's look at detailed steps on how to build trust, or what are the steps to build trust in teams. Building trust is a combination of skills and character. Firstly, do I trust myself? It comes from keeping words to yourself, believing in yourself, knowing your strengths, and we are all having strengths and we all have also weaknesses. Keep your word to yourself. That's very important. The second step to build trust is self-awareness. You need to know yourself and you need to tune in yourself. So you know how other people are experiencing you. Trust basically comes from your values, your respect, and your integrity. The next step is self-management, basically managing your emotions. If you can't manage your emotions, you can be creating an environment that is not safe for people. Out of control emotions can destroy trust for yourself and also for others. Then you need to give trust to get trust. Basically, trust is reciprocated. If you want to be trusted as a leader, you need to exhibit faith, trust, and other aspects in your people. This is also about how you demonstrate you have trust in your people. The next step is about communication and feedback. Basically, you need to have quality communication skills. It's about sending clear message and making sure that your messages are understood. At the same time, you need to listen attentively. It's about consistency that your verbal and non-verbal messages are lined up. It's about being able to talk straight in a skillful way and giving, let's say, honest feedback and helping people grow rather than being punitive or punishing in your approach. You should also accept feedback, and your people need to know that you can also receive feedback and they can give you candid and honest feedback, even if it's negative, and that depends on your respond. And that's how you respond. If you respond appropriately in a way that you heard it and consider it and you will improve, then that's a good listening. And please also remember that as a leader, you must be a good role model for the trust and also lead by example. It's very important that you step into your own leadership. So set clear expectations for the team about the results, behaviors, and standards. And don't tolerate behaviors that go against your values or your code of conduct. Remember that your team members are always watching and taking cues and signals from you. So take the opportunity to show them what the trust in others really looks like. Now, the last step. It is important to encourage learning and improvement. As Simon Sinek in his book called Leaders Eat Last mentioned, being a great leader is like being a parent. As a parent, we like to give our children opportunity, education, or discipline them when necessary so they can achieve more. Therefore, great leaders, from my point of view, want the same thing. They want to provide their people opportunities, education, discipline when necessary, and also give them the opportunity to try and fail. In this technology era, and basically in light of COVID-19 situation that many of us decide to work virtually, it's good to know how we can build trust while working virtually. In virtual teamwork, there are some barriers for building trust, such as less social clues, risk of conflict, let's say higher risk of role ambiguity, and poor understanding of events. Here we can make some suggestions on how to build trust on our virtual teams. For step one, we can say we can take the advantage of swift trust. Basically, when groups first form, the prevailing feeling is that we are all in this boat together. Success will reflect well on everyone, and remember, failure is going to hurt all of us as well. In this atmosphere of swift trust, people have little choice but to trust each other. Ensure to set very clear goals that everyone understands from the very beginning in that early stage. Avoid role ambiguity or conflict and set up dashboards that clearly report ownership of tasks. Then the second step can be interpersonal trust. You need to productively build the interpersonal trust. Please don't assume that people's work or product will be enough to create that kind of interpersonal trust. That really respect and care are the key part of it. You need people to make those personal connections in order to go extra miles for each other. So please encourage social activities so to establish emotional ties between people and your team members. The third step is communicating with predictability. In high trust teams, basically communications are quite regular and predictable. So the team members basically should contribute rather more equally and in a conscientious way, and letting other members of the team to know actually when they are going to be unavailable. So no one will be left wondering why somebody hasn't responded to a message, and this will help to build trust in the team environment. And now the last step, please share and rotate power. In a traditional workplace, teams are usually led by one person, but in a virtual environment, a centralized power structure is actually less effective. A study of virtual teams in a Fortune 500 company actually found that on high trust teams, power actually shifted among the members depending on the stage of the project. So let different members lead the team at different times. Actually, the person with the most relevant knowledge about a particular stage of work should take that charge. Now, here I have a quiz for you to quickly understand, are you a good leader? Here we are going to look at some statements and see how often or under what condition those statements can be correct for you. And then please choose between options A, B, or C and keep count of your points. So statement one is that I trust others. And the options are A, most of the time, B, depends on the situation, and C, never. I give you a few seconds to choose your option. Indeed, trust is the foundation of a cohesive team. Trust is reciprocated. You need to give trust to get trust. Next statement is that when someone is upset, I try to understand how he or she is feeling. So the answers are A, yes, B, sometimes, C, no. So you choose your option in a few seconds. In fact, this question is related to the concept of emotional intelligence, which is the ability to recognize feelings, means your own feelings, and the feelings of the others you are working with. So managing those emotions are quite important to create a strong relationship. The next statement is that I get upset and worried quite often in the workplace. The choices are A, yes, B, sometimes, and C, no. So spend a few seconds to choose your option. Indeed, a positive mindset is also associated with a strong leadership. However, being positive is much more than presenting a happy face to the world. So, you need to develop a strong sense of balance and recognize that setbacks and problems happen. It's all about how you deal with those problems that makes the difference. Next statement is I feel threatened when someone criticizes me. The options are A, yes, B, sometimes, and C, no. Again, spend some time to find the best choice fitting you. Indeed, good leaders accept feedback. So your people need to know that they can give you candid and honest feedback, even if that feedback is negative. So they have to be sure that you will respond appropriately in a way that you show you heard it and you consider it and basically you try to improve. Next statement is that when assigning tasks, I consider people's skills and interests. And the choices are A, yes, B, sometimes, and C, no. Indeed, good leaders should think about the task allocation and look for opportunities to match people with the jobs and responsibilities that they will help them to grow and develop. Next statement is I'm optimistic about life and I can see beyond temporary setbacks and problems. Option A, yes. Option B, sometimes. And option C, no. Again, spend a few seconds to see which option matches your personality. Indeed, positive people approach situation realistically and prepare to make the changes necessary to overcome a problem. However, negative people, on the other hand, often give in to the stress and pressure of the situation. This can lead to fear, worry, distress, anger, or even failure. The next statement is I make time to learn what people need from me so that they can be successful. And the options are A, yes, B, sometimes, and C, no. Indeed, as a leader, so you need to gain a better understanding of the training your team needs. So determining what your team needs to be successful is quite important for the leader. Next statement. I expect my people to work harder than I do. Option A, yes, B, sometimes, and C, no. Indeed, good leaders lead by example. Good leaders don't just sit in their offices and give orders. In fact, they demonstrate the actions and values that they expect from the team members. Next statement. I doubt myself and my ability to succeed. Option A, yes. B, sometimes, and C, no. Self-confidence is built basically by mastering significant skills and situations, and also by knowing that you can add real value by the work you do. One of the best ways to improve your confidence is to become aware of all of the things you have already achieved. So next statement is when circumstances change, I can struggle to know what to do. And option A is yes, B sometimes, and C no. Remember, you need to explore the challenges you face and identify the opportunities you have indeed. The next statement. The time spent worrying about team morale is time that's wasted. And the options are A, yes, B, sometimes, and C, no. Indeed, low team morale is a silent killer of workplace productivity and performance. So motivating people to deliver the vision is very important. Next statement is my actions show people what I want from them. And option A, yes, B, sometimes, and C, no. Indeed, good leaders set the role model. They do what they say and they say what they do. These types of leaders are trustworthy and also show integrity. Next statement is that I enjoy planning for the future. Option A, yes. B, sometimes. And C, no. Good leaders indeed provide a compelling vision of the future and present this vision in a way that inspires the people. The next statement. When working with a team, I encourage everyone to work towards the same overall objectives. Answer A, yes. B, sometimes. And C, no. As a leader, you must be able to convince others to accept the objectives you have set. Therefore, emphasize on teamwork and recognize when people work together, they can achieve great things. Next statement. I make exceptions to my rules and expectations. It's easier than being the enforcer all the time. Option A is yes, B sometimes, and C no. Effective leaders manage performance by setting their expectations quite clearly and concisely. When everyone knows what's expected, it's much easier to get high performance from the team. And the last statement. I think that teams perform best when individuals keep doing the same tasks instead of learning new skills. Option A is yes, B sometimes, and C no. Indeed, developing people while they are working is quite important. Good leaders should look for opportunities to match people with jobs and responsibilities. This can help the team members basically grow and develop. Now that you have obtained your scores for all those 16 statements, and um, I assume you are adding them up. So if your score is between 0 and 12 points, then you need to work hard on your leadership skills. Basically, you are easygoing and you do what everyone else does, and you do seem to be happy with what you are doing. If you use more of leadership skills at work, you will be a real asset to people around you. So now is great time for you to start. If your final score is 13 to 22 points, then you are doing okay as a leader, but you have a potential to do much better. While you have built a foundation of the effective leadership, this is actually your opportunity to improve your skills and become the best you can be. So please examine the areas where you lost points and determine what you can do to develop skills in those areas. And if you got your final score between 23 and 32 points, that's excellent. You are well on the way to become a good leader. Yay! So you have confidence in yourself and what you believe, and you set an example for others. People basically follow you mostly out of respect rather than fear. So excellent job. So I would like you to always remember our leadership communications need to be an invitation to a tomorrow that is better than today. Thank you for participating to this short session, and I hope you got some interesting and useful ideas about why leaders they need to build trust and how they can also work to build trust in their teams. And here are the list of references that I've used to prepare the materials for this short session. And you can go through them and get more detailed information from the relevant links.